Praise the Lord. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our midweek motivation. And it's great to be here with you this afternoon and coming on to a July 4th, crazy July 4th weekend, where people are going to be just celebrating 4th of July, Independence Day. And I'm here, as you can see, with our good friend, husband, father, leader, Bishop, Brother Fred Molina is with us here today, and so it's so great to have you with us here this afternoon,
Thank you.
Fred. And those of us who attend Victory Outreach Fremont, we know that Fred, Tammy, and the entire Molina family, they are really no strangers to all of us, and they're a precious family that represents hundreds of others within inside of our church. We like to say treasures out of darkness. And when I came out here in 2006 to begin the church, God gave us a promise. And He gave us a promise that we were going to, reach treasures out of darkness. And God has been so faithful. God has been, has kept His promise. And Fred and Tammy, were, I guess, our neighbors. They lived about 5 houses down from Angelica and I when we first got married. And so they lived there, and then they slowly but surely came in to the church. And then he'll share a few words about how they came into the church and all that. But there would be times, right? There would be times at the beginning when Fred first got saved, and he would was still struggling a little bit, right?
Yes.
Still struggling, and I would be out front, and he would be walking down the street, and right? Boom, we kind of locked eyes, and oh man, Pastor, we're Fred, what's up, man? Are you okay? Yeah, I'm okay. And we would talk, and I'd pray for him, and he was just getting out, getting some fresh air because he was going through one of a moment that we all go through, And so it's just so great to see the power of God, upon you, upon your wife, upon your children, man. And who would have thought? It feels like 4 or 5 years, but you could probably let us know. Who would have thought in just that short period of time that God, would really raise you up, man. To be a trustworthy husband, to be a trustworthy father, and even to be a trustworthy leader within our church. And so for that's why I wanted to have Fred here with us here today, and also because in August, every Sunday night in August, we are going to be meeting at the Newark Pavilion, and we're going to be having, again, what we call summer nights. It's going to be an evangelistical month, if you will, and we're going to be having concerts. We're going to be having just stuff for the entire family, drive-in service. And so by having Fred on here today, my whole purpose of that is to get Victory Outreach Fremont, with our eyes back on the harvest, right? Because it's been 4 months now, right? It's been 4 months with the COVID, and it's been kind of crazy, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, everybody's staying home, can't really do nothing.
Yeah.
Just not being, so used to what we used to do before, like going to church, or hanging out, going, places, going to the mall, going, restaurants, sit down and eat. Now it's all different. You can't do that stuff.
Right. So 4 months seems like 4 years.
Yeah.
4 months seems like 4 years. And it's easy to just get comfortable.
Yeah, it is.
It's real easy to get comfortable right now, and get our eyes back on ourselves, right? And just kind of glide around. But we want to input something into the church, stir our hearts back up again for souls. And so, again, that's why I wanted Fred to come here today. So maybe, Fred, you could tell us a little bit about yourself, and maybe what was life like before Christ.
Okay. Well, again, my name is Fred Molina. Been married for 20 years. I have 7 children.
20 years. Come on, somebody.
It wasn't good, and before Christ, it was hard. A lot of lying, deceiving. There was, cheating. There was like a lot of tears, hurt. Everything was a lot of hurt. Yeah. And I was in bondage, you know. I was addicted to alcohol. You know, alcohol just had a hold on my life, and I couldn't get rid of it for the longest. I started drinking when I was 13 years old.
Wow, 13 years old,
13
man,
years old,
my
yes.
God. And you grew up here in the Bay Area?
Yes, I grew up in Newark.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you're 13 years old, you know, what was that whole moment like? Like, was it just pure pressure? Or was it just you were bored one day, or you know everyone else was doing it, or you know it was modeled to you? You were
Yeah.
at maybe a family party, because a lot of times, right, when we were younger, our families, there was big gatherings,
Yeah.
right, and it
Yeah,
was
yeah,
easy
exactly.
for a
That was
kid
it.
of that age just to run by and there's a
Yes.
half-filled bottle, let me grab it and drink it. So what was that moment like for you?
Growing up, you know, I grew up in a lot of parties. You know, that's what we did. You know, a lot of
Right.
parties. My parents had a lot of parties, and I'm just so used to it. You know, that when the parties were over the next day, you know, me and a buddy of mine would be like, "Yeah, we go clean it. You know, we go clean it and get some
Absolutely,
extra bucks."
right.
But knowing that there was more beer out there, so that's how it started. You know, just
Yeah, innocent, kind of
yes.
innocent.
Yes,
It was fun,
Yes.
type of moment,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And then from there, it just graduated. Man, it's like it got really bad. Then growing up, you know,
Yeah.
growing up, and then having a kid, having responsibilities, and man, still in that addiction.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
being on there,
Right.
it was just so difficult, and like every day. I mean, I don't know if it's like even possible. It'd be like a functional drunk. You know, I go to work every day,
Right.
but I still drink every day. You know, I wake up in the morning and be like, man, today is gonna be the day. I'm not gonna drink.
Yeah.
And as soon as I get off work, straight to the liquor store and get another one.
Yeah.
And
man.
I was struggling, and you know, and then we came across where we were at a park with my nephew's birthday, and my kids found a flyer. You know, a flyer, and it was a 3-on-3 basketball tournament. And we didn't know it was Victory Outreach.
Yeah,
you know? So I'm kind of like
Got him.
like divine appointments. I'm really big on that.
So you
know?
just seen the 3-on-3 flyer,
Yeah.
and didn't see the Victory Outreach or anything. So you said, "We're
No.
going."
Yeah,
We're
my
gonna go to that.
my kids were like, "Bang, can we go? And
Yeah,
we're like,
yeah.
all right. I just seen the basketball, you know, and I was like, all right, let's go. We'll take them. You know,
Awesome,
not
man.
knowing that it was God. You know,
Yeah.
God was already working and everything.
Yeah,
And-
that's real powerful, man. And so, started drinking when you're 13. At what moment in your life? Because everyone has this what they call this moment, right? Where, okay, I'm out of control, right? Did you ever have that moment? Like, I'm sure you did. Had a lot of
Yes,
moments like
yes.
that. But can you recall that moment where you said, "Man, I'm definitely out of control"?
Yeah. Man, I had a lot of them.
Which one do you want to talk about? But
I had
maybe
a lot of,
explain how that felt, like just being out of control.
Like, yeah, I used to, because I used to drink beer a lot, and then I graduated to alcohol, like liquor.
Hard liquor.
Hard liquor.
Wow.
And that was just because at the same time I was trying to hide it. You know, I was trying to hide it from my wife, so I, you know, would go and then pound them and throw the bottle away. But
Right.
so, but then coming to the question is, you know, there's many a times like I would go, you know, when I first got saved, you know, I've been got to the church 6 years ago, and in the first year it wasn't easy. You know, it was hard.
Right.
It was hard. I used to go to church, you know, I'm embarrassed to say it now, but drunk.
Yeah.
You know, but I go to the altar and I used to, you know, beg, just like I'm tired of it.
Wow.
Because I used to hear testimonies of people going up there behind the pulpit and say, man, it was instantly gone. And I was like, Lord, I want that.
Yeah.
You know, I want. And I used to go out there and I cry and I'd be like, Lord, just take it.
Yeah.
But then there's one time, Friday night after service, you know, came home and man, I had a bottle and then I got it and then I was like, but it was so different because Tammy came home and she already knew. She's like, you've been drinking, you know, and I tried to lie to her, of course.
Yeah.
But it was different because we didn't fight that time. She goes, you know what? I can't do this no more. You know, it's between you and God.
Wow. So she
And then,
gave you,
yeah,
she said,
she surrendered.
she said, "I'm not going to argue with you anymore. I'm done."
Yeah.
And she gave you to God.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then that time, like...
so what goes through your mind right there? You're like, well, cool, now I can drink because she's not yelling at me.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, man. No, actually, I was like, what's going on? You know, it's something different. You know,
Yeah.
usually I was ready for like a fight.
Yeah, you weren't expecting
Yeah.
that, right?
I was like ready to get down.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
So, but then that happened. So then I go to the room And I just get down on my knees. I said, okay, Lord, I don't know what's going on. I'm tired. And then I started changing up my words. You know, instead of take it from me, I said, okay, Lord, I'm ready.
Ooh,
I'm ready when you are.
Man, that's powerful.
You know,
that is powerful.
Then he spoke to me. He just said, okay, I've been waiting for you. And since that day, you know.
Like, so it was like a moment of like of surrender. Like right, I'm not gonna like because I think that's common, you know, with a lot of us, that we say, like, we want God to do, and God does miracles. He's a miracle working God. You know, I remember 22 years ago for me, you know, similar but different, where, you know, when I came into the home, for me, it was like I was ready to surrender. And so, but for you, you were still like many, right?
Yeah.
I want to change, but God, you have to do it. But sometimes, and here's, if you're listening today, maybe you're struggling, and maybe you got one foot in and one foot out. Maybe it's a legit struggle, right? Because it's just like you don't just come into church and all of a sudden all your problems go away.
No.
All of a sudden everything disappears. All of a sudden, you know, you and your wife, right?
Even though you wanted to,
right? Because that's sometimes why you're there. But it's also for us to say is, God also says, well, you have to do something too.
Yeah.
Right? He says, I'll do the super, but you have to do the natural.
Correct.
And for you at that moment, that Friday night service, after service, was, God, here, I'm going to surrender it to you, right?
I'm ready, yes.
Wow, that's powerful. That is real powerful. So do you feel like that was your moment?
Yes,
right?
I do. I feel like that was it. And then I woke up the next day, and I told my wife, I was like, you know what, I'm done. You know, and to her, she was like, she heard it thousands of times.
Yeah.
She was like, okay, whatever. But it, you know, like, I felt it, like, it's time. I got to change, you know? And it's not just for me, you know?
Right.
I got little ones watching, you know? Like the kids, they soak up everything they see, you know? We may tell them what to do, but they're going to, you know, see what we're doing and just role model. So
yeah. So what kind of effect, talking about your kids, because you have 6 kids.
Yeah, 7
right?
kids, yes.
7 kids. Ooh, my God. He has a church already, right? 7 kids. What kind of effect did you see your addiction having on them? Now that you think about it, because when you're blinded with it, you know, we're all in denial, right? But now that you look back, what kind of effect do you think it, you know, had on them?
Well, like distrust, a lot of distrust, you know?
Yeah.
And someone, what I've seen is someone that they can't count on, you know? That they couldn't count on me, that they couldn't trust me, you know, like everything had to be hidden, you know? All the money, all the change, everything in the house.
Wow.
Like, you know, or when they knew I was like that, like I had them walking on eggshells.
Yeah,
you know?
right, because anything could pop off at any time.
Yeah, yes.
Right?
Yes.
An argument, a fight.
Yes.
Anything.
Yeah.
At any time. Everything. So they grow up with a lot of
like fear,
anxiety.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, and so.
And then hate. You know, they came to a point where they hated. God. You know, like they used to
That's
tell
a
them,
powerful
like,
one.
You know, like just get. I don't want him here no more. Just if you say you're gonna leave him, but do it. You know, because they were tired as well, and I understood. And after I got saved, it's like, man, now I gotta earn their trust back. You know, and it wasn't easy.
Yeah.
You know. Because I had conversations with them, and they're like, "Well, you weren't here this whole time, you know. So how can you tell us what to do? Mom's the one doing."
Wow,
and then, you know, it hurt me.
Yeah,
but it's something I had to hear.
But it's something you had to hear, right, man? That's a powerful, you know, just words on both sides. You know what I'm saying? And then sometimes we don't really realize the effect that we have negatively, you know, and. On the children and on the family, you know what I mean? Yes. And I think, you know, when you flip that now, right? Now you've been doing great, okay? And so now as a father, you feel like you're bringing another atmosphere to your home now.
Yes.
Yeah. So maybe you could explain to us today, like how does that make you feel? You know, being able to know that it's not easy as a dad, right? Because we're not perfect. You know, we've all we this is something we all have to work on every day. But like, how does it feel now? What's the atmosphere at home now?
It's great, you know. And I used to get before I used to go home and they were just scattered to their own room. They didn't want to be there. But now I can go in and we can have family time. You know, we have family time.
Wow.
We go in there, we laugh, we talk. You know, spend time together. You know, it's great. And it's just showing them to the spiritual side as well.
Yeah.
Know?
Right.
You know what we do, like. They see us, you know, they see me and my wife, we're in a lot of Zoom meetings.
Sure.
And we're doing church and, you know, we're doing life groups and, you know.
Yeah.
And sometimes they, you know, but it's a balance we have to do.
Of course,
we have to learn how to balance it.
Right. Like any family, you know, like all of a sudden mom and dad are saved. Mm-hmm. It's good. Healing has to take place. Proving to them trustworthiness, you know, turning hate into love doesn't happen overnight, and I'm quite sure you're still working.
Yeah,
you're still working. You're still working at that with them. But now all of a sudden, church becomes the object now. Mm-hmm. So you know, with children, all they want is their family back. They just want their dad back, right? Yeah, yeah. But now all of a sudden, a part of that now is what sometimes they don't realize. Is that, you know, dad and mom are doing this now because this is what we feel called to do now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but we can't leave them behind.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So those things have to be done, and explaining to them, right, and letting them know. So what are some of the things you and your wife are trying to do that are trying to bring a balance to your family? Because you got, again, 7 children. He's got young adults. He's got older teenagers, 18, 17, 16-year-olds. And then you got your youngest is what?
He's 6.
7 years old. 7 years old. So that's quite a lot of different age groups there. And you got a daughter. Let's not forget about your daughter, right? All boys and one girl. Shout out to Juliana today, right? And she's how old?
She is 14.
14 years old. So these are some ages, you know what I mean? So what are some of the things maybe you could explain to somebody today that is on their road to recovery, that is doing better? How do you guys bring balance to your house?
Well, we bring, first of all, I think it's in us first. You know, first I have to check myself.
Awesome.
You know,
That's
I have
great.
to check myself and see where I'm at and be very observant. You know, like with the atmosphere or with, you know, see what they're doing too. You know, like see what my kids are up to, see what they like to do. You know, because. Now it's me, you know, pouring into them.
Yeah.
And then seeing, like, things that they like to do now, you know, I had to get involved. Uh-huh. Now I have to put time in there because there's a lot of time that I lost from it. You know?
That's great.
And just keeping that family time, you know, and balancing is very important. But we also got to show them the spiritual side and the fun side with them. That's what we, you know.
Yeah.
Keeping that entertainment with them,
right?
That, you know, that we're there and we're gonna keep it.
So you're making up for lost time, but at the same time, this is who we are now.
Yes.
Right. This is who we are. We serve God in this house, and then with teenagers, I got teenagers too. You know, I've had them all. I got them all as well. I got a 5-year-old, and then I got a 26-year-old. You know what I mean? And everything else in between. Mm-hmm. So especially right now, no school.
Oh, yeah.
Right, they're home, so they're staying up late, sleeping in. You gotta work extra hard now to be with them and figure it out. But it's a challenge for any family.
Yes,
it's a challenge for any father, any mom, any family to do it. But this guy's nailing it, man. This guy is him and Tammy. Not only are they raising up a godly family, but they also have a lot of ministry responsibilities. They have life group. He's a part of my ministerial staff, and you know he's in a prayer team. Has a heart for people. Has a heart for souls. So maybe Fred, you could maybe share with us, where does your passion for people come from? Because you guys live selfless. I'm going to tell you right now, you and Tammy live very selfless. Maybe you could explain to us, where do you get that passion from, man? Where do you get that passion from?
The passion comes from, you know, what was shown to us. You
okay.
know, the love that we got, you know, when we entered the doors of McDarvitt's Fremont.
Awesome.
You know, the love that we got, you know, it's just, and that's brought, you know, the love that was brought to us, we want to show it, you know,
Yeah.
and what God's doing for us and just all that. That's what. And then I see other people that are hurt because when I, you know, when I left the devil's ground and came to Christ,
yeah.
and there was someone else there now, you know. So now I gotta go back to save them, you know.
Yeah.
Because the devil don't stop working.
No,
you know? So
no.
And that's what, like, seeing guys out there, a son or a husband or something, hurting. You know, they got family out there that love them.
Yeah.
So we gotta go out there and save them. That's what, you know, bringing families together. That's where my passion comes.
And then also you love to work with new people. So not only you have a heart for the lost, but also you love to work with new people that come into the church, like either brand new to Victory Outreach or even brand new to Christianity, right? So like, is that kind of, you could kind of tie that into the same passion or, Yeah,
working with new people, bringing them, showing them like the beginning ropes, you know.
Right.
You know, the basics.
Yeah.
And then from there, training them, and then, you know, letting them move on.
Letting them move on.
Caring for them. Okay, then someone else can care for them after.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And that takes someone special to do that, you know, to have that constant, because it's not just something that you do because no one else is doing it. Mm-hmm. It's something that you and Tammy have done from day one. You know, you've done from day one, and it's been a consistent thing that you guys have done. You know what I mean? And so, you know, we're proud of you and Tammy, and not only proud of you and Tammy, but we're blessed to have you guys on the team and with the Victory Outreach family. So what would you say, Fred, to a mom, a wife, a child that has someone out there still in addiction of alcohol, heroin, methamphetamine, you know, someone that is out there? What would you say to that family, that wife, that mom out there? What would you say to them today?
To reach out, you know, and you got to reach out, because, you know, you can't do it on your own. We can't do it on our own. Yeah. You know, me personally, I tried. Yeah. I tried doing it on my own and I couldn't, you know. I had to reach out to somebody, you know, for help, and be willing to change, to accept change, because when you're going to reach out and you want something to change, there's going to, you know, be a shift, not in just this little section, but everywhere else. That is, you know, around that.
Yeah.
So I say reach out and just be ready for change, you know, and it's not, you know, it's not like who you used to be, you know, it's who you're willing to become. Right.
How about the wife? Like how would you encourage the wife right now that feels like, this dude ain't listening to me, my husband ain't, you know, like, what would you say to her? Like, you know? Yeah. What would you say to her right now?
I say keep praying. Pray. My wife. I thank my wife, you know, she's never stopped praying. Yeah. You know, even though she hated me a couple of times, but yeah. But she's never stopped praying, you know. I don't think I would have got through it if it wasn't for her praying. Right. You know, so prayer works.
I remember before you guys obviously went to the basketball tournament, before you know, thought of any of that, you know, we were having a toy outreach for our church. We were, and we had a lot of toys that were left over. And my wife says, you know what, there's a family down the street. They live around 5 houses. As soon as she said it, I know exactly who you're talking about. You know, I know the family. She goes, we should go over there on Christmas or Christmas Eve. I can't remember which it was. It might have been Christmas Eve. Let's go over there and just bring them some toys. And we had a van load of them. And we went. Nobody was home. You guys were at family's house. So we started unloading the van. We just said, you know what? It looks like they have kids this age. And so we left them on the porch. The minute we started leaving, I think that's when Tammy might have drove up, right? Yeah, Tammy, your wife, had come up with maybe a few of the kids, and she's like, who are these crazy people? What are they? And it was Angelica and I, and it might have been one of our kids. And I remember her getting out of the car. We explained who we were, you know, kind of like that, and we let her know about the toys. So she was like, oh, thank you. You know, it was a real brief conversation, but I remember it was that moment for us as the church to begin to say, I want to pray. We're going to begin praying for that family, man. We're going to believe God for that family. And so, you know, I want to speak to the church here today, those that are listening. There's a lot of people listening here today. Listen, when God puts something on your heart to be a blessing to somebody, it could be the family down the street. It can be an old friend you see on social media. It can just be somehow, somewhere, you got to follow that leading. You got to follow that leading, because sometimes it's not convenient. Sometimes it may not. You may feel embarrassed. You may feel, well, they're not going to receive it. Don't worry about all those rejections. Don't worry about, our interpretation of how it's going to go down. Because, we didn't have this big moment. Tammy didn't get out the car all crying and broke. She was, tripping off us probably. And then we were just trying to, be a blessing. Yeah. But it was a seed. It was a huge seed, I feel, that was sown. You know what I mean? And so because of that, it opened at least us up for prayer. And so I want to continue to challenge Victory Outreach Fremont. Those of you who are listening to it, you got to follow your heart, be a blessing. The Bible says that if it's in your realm or capability to do something, then do it. Yeah. Don't hold back if you have the means to do it. Prayer, be a blessing somehow, some way. Let me ask you this question, Fred, as we get ready to close here today. What do you think God has for Fred, Tammy, and the family in the future? What do you think God has for you in the future?
Well, I see us being strong pillars at the church, backing you up, Pastor, and Sister Angelica, and our kids getting raised up in Victory Outreach and them doing something big for the Lord, I just see us keep striving and moving forward, under leadership and just like, man, it's how can I say it? It's
like sky's the limit, right? You guys see sky's the limit.
Yes. Now that we're all together and we're like in the same team, as a family. We can,
Yeah. No, I think that's awesome, forward. Man. And those of you who attend Victory Outreach Fremont, you already know that Fred and Tammy are strong pillars. They're great people. We're all growing. We're all learning, and that's the great thing about right here, the season that our church is in right now, is that no matter how we came in, right? Mm-hmm. Some of us came in to this season of quarantine, like, just on fire for God. Some of us might have been not so on fire for God, but now it feels like the playing field has been even with all of us. And so I feel now that we're all rebuilding our lives together. Yeah. We're all rebuilding our lives together. And I see Fred, in the future, becoming a licensed minister, man. I really do. I see Pastor Fred. Come on, somebody. Ooh, come on. He looked at me a little crazy right now. Pastor Fred and Sister Tammy, Victory Outreach Fremont, and the Molina family doing some great things for God. And, this again is just one family, one man, one family that represents hundreds of people within our local church here in Victory Outreach Fremont that make up the makeup of Victory Outreach Fremont, man. And so again, our goal today was just to remind all of us that there are still more Freds out there.
Yes.
There are still more Molina families out there. There are still more Anthonys out there. There are still more of you that are out there. And August, we're going to have an opportunity. We may not be able to go out and hand out flyers, do rallies like we once did, but social media is a great way for us to spread the word, to be able to fill that parking lot at the Newark Pavilion August 2nd, all the way to we got 5 Sunday nights in August that we're going to be having concerts, family events, different things for us to win some souls. And then the great thing that we talked about last night at one of our meetings is the great thing that's going to happen in September is we're going to start a fresh start newcomers classes, right? Zoom classes for all the newcomers that have been coming in since quarantine, right? And that are going to continue to come in for the next month or two. So that's an exciting thing. Quarantine salvations, right?
Come on. That's good.
Quarantine salvations are taking place. So again, guys, I've been reading, trying to interview Fred at the same time and look at what's coming in. We've had close to 50 people log in today for our midweek motivation. Listen, I hope you were motivated today to win some souls. I hope you were motivated to say, man, God could use me. I hope you were motivated today to say, you know what, man, my family too. We're going to do our best. And so we appreciate you tuning in and spending these just few minutes that we had today for our midweek motivation. Listen, Angelica and I love you guys with all of our hearts. We're praying for you. Friday night, Sister Angelica is going to be speaking a powerful message as we continue to equip for battle. Sunday morning, I got a word on my heart to speak, and our prayers are with you. Keep us in prayer as we keep you in prayer. Brother Fred, thank you so much for joining us today. How many enjoyed that today, man? How many really enjoyed that? Right. Well, God bless you. We'll see you on Friday night, and we'll see you again on Sunday morning. Praise the Lord. God bless you guys.